Hello there and welcome back. Today I want to finally talk about one of my other favorite sequencer, the intellijel Metropolix. So they just released a new version, which actually is compatible if you have the module, that is the Solo. So basically they build this nice case that fit your Metropolix if you have already, or you can buy the entire things, and allows you to have a Metropolix as a standalone sequencer, something that I dreamed about for a long time because I really like how these things work. I'm gonna actually tell you why. I'm gonna show you some tricks, and as every intelligent product, there's several layers. There's a very simple way to use it, like most of the things I do, it's super straightforward and simple. And then if you like, you can go and have a deep dive in all the function. And I'm telling you, there's so many things you can do with these, and it's kind of blow me away whenever I try to experiment. This video is probably the first of a series that I will do because there's so many things we can talk about and it's impossible, otherwise it's gonna be 3 hours long. I will use it since the new Solo give you the chance to use it via Midi, which is a new possibility you could have done before with the inside there's a connector, but now you can just go out with your TSR Midi. So you have on the back, you have Midi out, in and through your AC, so you can bring it whenever you want. And then you can use it as usual with CV, gate, pitch and gate, and many other things. So I will use the Vermona because the Vermona allows me to first have 2 separate channels, so I can show you this 2 channel because this is a 2 channel sequencer. And I can use it both with the Midi, as you were listening in the intro demo, and also I can use the back CV and gate expander. And so we will see when CV and gate has an edge over Midi. There's another thing that I have to say, the Midi implementation of the performer is very little, you cannot really control anything. If you use the Metropolix, for example, with a peak, Innovation Peak that has a beautiful Midi implementation, then you can send via Midi 8 modulation lane and then make things pretty complex. Maybe or maybe not I will add something at the end, but I think I'm gonna do that as a second video. Today I wanna just go through the basic of the Metropolix. So, first thing first, what is the Metropolix? Actually no, I lied. First thing first, how can you support my page? You just hit the like button and subscribe to this channel, and it's free. You can buy from the affiliate link. You will spend exactly the same amount of money, but I will get a tiny percentage that will help me get going. Be sure that the cookies are enabled. And then you can become a patron. On Patreon you will find hundreds of stuff, videos, demos, sample projects, and I will reply to all of your questions, and it's a growing community and it's really great. That's it. Let's go back. So, first, the setup. Metropolix sequencing the Vermona go stereo into the Neon Egg. I'm using it, also let me turn off that. I'm using it because it gives me reverb and echo and some compression all in one, easy, and sounds great. Then, what is the Metropolix? Let's go through it. As you can see, the Metropolix is a stage sequencer. It's something different that I don't have in any other sequencer, and I really like the concept. Basically, you have 8 steps. And you might say, oh, what you gonna do with 8 steps? A lot. As you can hear before, you can do really a lot of stuff because of the way it works. So you have 8 sequencer, 8 steps, stages actually, not steps, stages. Each stage has a pitch slider, which can be spread in multiple octaves and quantized to scale, also scale that you can create. Then you have pulse count. This is the different concept than any other sequencer. Instead of having a step that is a finite amount, a precise amount of time that is decided by the sequencer step division, could be a 16th, an 8th, a 4th, a 32th, I don't know how you say fraction in English, whatever. In this case, for each of these 8 stages, you can have a different pulse count. So you can decide each pulse lasts 1 pulse, each stage lasts 1 pulse, hence it's gonna be like an 8-step sequencer, but you can make pulses that are 8 count, so it's gonna be longer and it stay longer. I'll show you example and you'll understand better. With this trick, you can change and improvise and make very cool, happy accident all the time. And it's a way of creating music that I didn't see any other else. Then you can decide what gate type. So it could be known, it could be just 1 pulse, it could be multiple pulse depending on the pulse count, or it could be a legato pulse. And then you have a lot of different things like slide, skip, pitch, gate, ratcheting, probability, and accumulator and CV. Accumulator is the cool stuff. So let me just go through what I was doing in the demo. There's some reverb and echo because we love that. So, just to get ahead of the game, I split the pulse. And as you can see, I made the track 1 only 5 stages, and 1 stages last 2. This would be if each pulse count would be 1, but if I put these 2, and I can decide this one that is longer to be a legato or stepped. And I can change the pitch by sliding this guy here. It's all quantized by pressing the scale here. I choose a Aeolian. You can set the BPM here, I'm 82. And in the setup, you have a lot of stuff, but you have to remember you have to set the MIDI channel. So in this case, I'm using MIDI channel 1 and 2. Track 2, if I press here, so this is track 1, and you can have here a glimpse of what happened. If I go to track 2, as you can see, you see only these 3 guys working. That's why, because on the edit, I set skip, and I skip these first 5. So basically I hear only these 3. Why I did that? Because the 2 track, and actually this is what happened in track 2. Because I put these 2 as 2 stage, and I muted the middle one. I can bring it in when I want. Why I did that? Because in this way I can separate and create 2 different sequences, one for the first 5 steps and another one for the last 3. And you can decide in track 1 I just set length as 5. Track 2 I set length at 8, but in edit I went to the skip button and I skipped the first 5. So it only cycled through this one. So this is a cool trick to create, even if it's an 8-step sequencer, you can create something that it's way more complex. And then now I can create some variation. So this was the intro. Let's start from scratch so I'm able to give you a better workflow. So when you want to start, you just press setup, you go init preset, yes. Now I have the 2, track 1 and track 2, that basically share the same pitch and pulse count. Let's start. Let me bring the volume a little up. Okay. So this is track 1, and this is track 2. Track 2 doesn't work because by default only MIDI channel 1 is out. So I'm going track 2, I press Alt and track channel 2. There it is. Now these two tracks will be exactly the same. Exactly the same. So first you can have fun and have a 8 stages sequencer. Which is beautiful already. And it's very simple because you can just move this slider and listen what happened. So now I have the first 5 stages of just 1 pulse, and stage 6, 7, 8 are 2 pulse, and 7 is skipped. It's not skipped, it's muted. If I bring it in. So this is the concept of creating sequences. It's really unique to this kind of sequencer. I think Roland created originally something, I forgot the name of it, but yeah, you can check it out. So let me also go through few things that are interesting. If you press edit, you have all of these edit page. One is slide. So now slide is where the CV control works better, because you cannot send slide through MIDI, or at least you can, but you need to set up things. It works for the intellijel Cascadia, but not for the performer. So let's skip that for now. Then you have skip. With skip, you can jump to the next step if you skip one. Then you have pitch, where you can change pitch independently by than the slider. Never use that, honestly. Gate, you set the length of the gate. I like to do that also by hand. Then you have ratcheting, and for example, let's ratchet this one. Very nice. Probability, it set the probability, as you can imagine. Let's not change that. And then you have accumulator. Accumulator is one of the features that make me fall in love with the new version of the Metropolix. What does it do? What does it do? You set one of the stage. Let's set stage 6. And then you can tell every time that the playhead hit that, you can add pitch or subtract. Let's add. As you can hear, every time you hit, every time that hit, it goes up, and you can select how much it goes up by pressing gate and limit. Alt and limit. And you can set that the positive limit, it's 7 semitone, so, or 7 tone, I don't know really, but once it hit that, it reset and cycled back again. And this is super nice because you can create ever-changing sequence. You can add that here. For example, let's put now on the second, I put another one, but I subtract. Now I have the 2 sequences going on. This one has a slight glide. So even though if it's 8 stages, don't get the error to think it's 8 steps. As you can hear, things are changing and getting interesting. But you can go a step further, and we can do what I did in the demo at the beginning. Let's set track 1, just the first 5 steps. So we go in length, and we set 5. Let's remove the ratcheting. Let's keep that one. Now, let's go on track 2, and we'd say, let's skip the first 5 steps. And so we go in Edit, Skip. So now only this one are listened. So we can create a sort of bass line. We can make it long. So now we have 2 separate tracks using just 8 stages. Isn't that great? Few other interesting things you can do. You have these 2 controls. You can set up what the control do. So one we would set as, let's try gate length, and let's play. Now I select gate length controlling track 1. So as you can hear, now the gate is longer, and now the gate is short. Let's put Control 2, and let's decide, you can decide a lot of stuff. For example, you can decide to change the BPM. You can decide the clock division. I like to put this one as pitch pre. It means that it will change the pitch pre-quantization. It means that will be quantized to the scale you decide. It's also nice to use octave. When you move sliders and things here, you have to think that this part, the pitch, pulse count, are shared between the 2 tracks. So even if I am track 1, but I move this one, I know that these 3 stages are sent to my Midi channel too. So it's something you have to get used to. It's a different way of working. But the cool thing is, like, you can change things very fast. I find it very beautiful to just experiment like that. And there's more, of course. Now we cover track 1, track 2. Now there's also modulation. Modulation lane, it's actually comprised of 8 modulation lanes that you select by pressing Edit, and then the different mod 1 through 8. Each modulation lane can do anything, really. So you have here different stuff, and it can also send out as a Midi CC. So let's go now and pick as modulation lane 1 this one. Let me find it. Pitch offset, or actually pitch pre. So now we go in the modulation page, and we can say the first step, stay as is. Second step, it goes up by 2 steps. Now, let's put the division, because the modulation lane have their own clock division. So let's put it as very slow. So you see here when it changes. You can also do like, let's reset. When it goes here, now it's changed. Now let's go on the third step and let's put it lower. And let it make the length of 4. So now what happened is like every of the step of the modulation will change the entire offset of the pitch of sequence 1. So now we have even more complex situation. So as I show you, with just using 5 stages for track 1, 3 stages for track 2, I'm creating a full composition. This is a great tool by itself via Midi when it's CV better. Let's try to switch now from Midi to CV and let's listen what happened and where I think CV is still the best. So now I connected via CV, and what really is better using that is the slide function, which is something I really like. So for example, let's start editing the track 1. And let's edit the slide. And let's put a slide here. This is not doable in Midi yet. It's doable with some trick. It's not as easy. And for example, if you set the Ctrl to, let's set it slide amount. Slide amount, here it is. Now you can decide to add it whenever you want. You have different kind of slide. This is analog. This is tempo. And this is acid. I like that. Then if you have a more complex CV thing, like for example the Cascadia, you have this A and B out, which could be a CV channel that you have per track, or something that comes from the mod lane. Now, for example, on track 1, I can select the length of the gate. If I use that and skip the EG, I can get this weird sound. All right, that's enough for today. I hope you understand how this small thing, it's super simple to use. Literally, you can just create any sequence in 2 seconds and it sounds great and it's easy to understand. But then the moment you just go a little deeper, you can use a lot of tricks and get out of this a lot of juice. So I will come back with some more advanced tutorial in a second video with some other setup. This was just to introduce you to the Metropolix and to the new nice way to use it as a standalone sequencer. Thanks to intellijel because they sent me the case. I originally bought the Metropolis, was one of the first things that I bought from intellijel, and from that moment on, as you might have noticed, they become one of my favorite brands. I love their stuff. So, yeah. I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching and ciao.